All right, I guess we can start. So welcome everyone for our first demo for the codename Omni, which is brand new enterprise wallet for Polkadot ecosystem developed by Nova Summer Technologies. Today, there will be two speakers, myself, Anton, and Pavel, who is engineering lead of the project. So let's begin. So what is Omni, you might ask? The Omni itself is the secure enterprise wallet for the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem. And you can see that it is focused on auditable funds management. So you can think about like a multi-sig proxy, auditable transaction history, and all of these features in this manner. As well as we are going to support all ecosystem features, including staking, governance, DApps, and such. In addition to this, enterprise, meaning quality attributes such as security and reliability, which means you can think about like a light clients integration, parachain data verification, which is something what we implemented in Nova Summer Technologies, and Pavel will explain later on during the demo. And of course, hardware wallets as a piece of the top-notch security for managing your digital assets. So one can ask for whom we are developing such applications. So let's talk about target audience. And for the target audience, it's quite interesting because we can define three groups of personas or target audience or users, which in some points intersect between each other in terms of the feature needs. However, they are all unique in their nature. So first category you can see on the screen, we call it currently power users, and you can basically understand them as the validators or technical experts. Those people are basically holding multiple accounts. Usually they control relatively huge amount of the tokens or large amount of tokens, and they're familiar with the ecosystem from both perspectives, like a product and the technical one. The second one is the enterprises, and enterprise meaning like companies, financial institutions, VCs, DAOs, and all these folks. They used to work with the corporate accounts, so accounts which are managed by multiple signatories. They also move large amount of the tokens, and they are not always familiar with the products in the ecosystem or technical side of things in the ecosystem. So that's their characteristics. And of course, the target audience, since we are focusing on these two, building lots of the features in the desktop format, we cannot forget about individuals, such as enthusiasts or token holders, which hold maybe one account for multiple networks. They can manage from like a small to large sum of tokens, and they can be familiar with the ecosystem or not. So basically, everyone who would like to manage their digital funds on the desktop, falling to this category. Now, let's quickly go to our feature map that we defined in order to understand how these different target audience intersect between each other and how the features across them are basically satisfying their needs. So you can see these three categories. I'm sorry that they're a bit in a different order than on the previous slide, but still. So the first one is the individuals, the middle one is enterprise, and the power users are basically on the right. So let's start with the wallet management. You can see that such things like watch-only wallets, which allow you to add a wallet by the address, or pairing with some mobile wallet, for example, Nova or any other wallet, you're probably familiar with such feature if you ever use the Gnosis safe, right? So these are falling to all of three categories. But as soon as we go deeper to the details, such as hardware wallets, like a party signer or other hardware wallets, you can see that basically now we are talking about these two particular categories, like enterprise and the power users. Moreover, if we're talking about something complex, like managing multi-shard wallets, and Pavel is going to explain what multi-shard wallet is a little bit later on the slides, we are talking precisely about power users such as validators and the technical experts. Also, here we are following like assign multiple transactions in a single action, so you can consider it like you're doing multiple operations before signing them with the hardware wallets, and then you're sending all of them to be signed using your hardware wallet at once in single action. Also, you can see that some features are really going through the whole three categories, like a balances management, like a transfers both on-chain and across chain, receiving tokens, viewing the fiat values. But once again, as soon as we go deeper, we can see some of the features basically falling to the enterprise and the power users' needs, such as signing queue or analyzer for the signing queue. So whenever you feel this batch of the operations which you're about to sign, like lots of them, we need to analyze, we need to validate and verify all the operations so that they will not fail as soon as we send them to the blockchain. And the staking is one of the features which is going to be implemented and released. And you can see how different types of staking fall into the different types of the target audience. So for example, individuals and basically everyone can benefit from the staking as a nominator or staking as a delegator. Delegator is a specific case of staking on the parachain, such as Moonbeam, right? But however, staking with a multi-shard wallet or nominating with multi-shard wallet is a specific case of the power users. And staking for the validators and the collators fall into the both categories, enterprise and the power users. So you can see all of these features which we are composing and analyzing towards these three categories, basically allowing us to understand what and when to develop. And we would really appreciate your feedback on this. So basically, we're going to conduct these videos demos periodically, like every 2-3 weeks. And feel free to let us know the feedback, like what you would like to see in the desktop application, because we would like to work closely with the stakeholders, with the target audience, to understand how to refine our desktop application in the future. So that's about feature map, and to give you understanding who is the target audience for our upcoming desktop application. And let's go back to the slides. So a couple words about the team. So on the top of the slide, you can see the core team of Codename Omni project. We have Pavel, Alisa, Stepan, Yaroslav, and Alexander, and Balazs. So basically, this is a core team of our desktop application. And other folks from Novosama, such as Ruslan, Valentin, myself, Lee, and Sabit, are helping them to build the product onwards. But most of our time is allocated to our first project, which is Nova Wallet. So that's the team. And I guess it was a concise introduction, but don't be afraid. Pavel is going to explain you more in the details of what we built so far, what we are building by the end of this year as a milestone second, and basically details and the demo itself. So Pavel, please proceed.
Thank you, Anton. And thanks everyone for joining us today. And I will proceed with details of the current milestone. So on this slide, you can see the list of the features that are in the scope of the current milestone. And with the green marks, you can recognize the features that are already implemented and completed. What we are going to achieve in this milestone? We are going to achieve the application that works and able to connect to different set of networks using RPCs and lifelines and make operations like transfers and nominating on the relay chain. One of the complex cluster of tasks is a multi-shard staking and multi-shard wallets that we are going to make with a good user experience and user interface, so that users will be able to make multiple operations really quick. And let me explain how we are going to achieve it and how we are going to do it in the next slides. But before that, I'd like to show you what we already have. And for that purpose, let me share my screen again and explain what I'm going to show. So first of all, our main application that will be used for signing is a parity signer hardware wallet. And we are trying to provide the better user experience for pairing and importing your parity signer accounts in the Omni application. And then the watch-only wallet feature will be shown, and also completed features like show balances and managing networks connection. Okay, and then let's start from the video. Okay, so yeah, on this video, it will be shown how the pairing with a parity signer works. So let's start. So first of all, when you see Omni, you can select the type of importing wallet. And if you select a parity signer, then you see this screen. And when you open the parity signer and select the account you'd like to pair with Omni application, and you'll get this QR code. And then you should scan it using the Omni application. Yeah, that's how it works. This is the same QR code. And now you see that it was scanned, and you should add the name of the wallet. And now you can see that Omni got all the information about this wallet. And also it got the balances in all networks where this account exists. So that's how it works. And also it's not a case for the multi-shard wallets that I will explain in the next slides, but let me show how it works. So I will share next video. Okay. So the same thing, and we should select the add parity signer wallet. But now in the parity signer, you should export the key set, not a single account, but a key set, and you are able to select the list of keys. And now you are getting the multi-frame QR code that contains of different frames. And Omni should scan this QR code. And you see that a lot of accounts are here. And this is all exported accounts with their derivations. Then you can name them or ignore them and proceed. So as a result, you can see here all the accounts that were imported in the Omni application, and you'll be able to operate with them. Okay, so, and the last type of the wallet that we are going to support in the current milestone is a watch-only wallet. So this wallet is used only for checking the activity or balances, and that's how it works. So we should select the watch-only wallet and just enter the address of the wallet that we are going to use. Name it somehow, and also the list of accounts may be checked here. So we can check how this account looks on the Polkadot or in our networks and in every network that Omni supports. And if everything is fine, you can check more accounts. Yeah, so here all the account address derived for all the networks. So yeah, if everything is fine and you check that this is a correct account, you can proceed. And you see that this account has a lot of tokens in different networks, but you can only check it. You can't manage funds because it's a watch only. You don't control this account. And let's focus on balances. So how balances works. On the balances, you're able to get the list of all tokens in all supported relay chains and parachains. And let me show how it works. So this is a list of tokens, and you can check the transferable, locked, and reserved amount for each token. For that purpose, you should click on it. Also, you can find a token by the name, like Akala, and check the details once again. And also you can find a toggle with hide zero balances. So if you switch it off, then you see all the tokens, even if the balance is zero. And the next big part is a network management. So the network management was implemented in order to allow the user to manage the network connections and to select the type what the user would like to use for working with the network. So it might be RPC, light client, and also custom nodes. So let me show how it works. So we can go to the settings, and from the settings, we can go to the network page. And you can see that there are two lists, disabled networks and active networks. In active networks, you can see the networks that are connected to the Omni, and Omni works with them. And disabled networks are networks that user is not going to use right now. You can find any network by the name using this filter at the top. And also you can change the connection. So by the default, you can see that all the networks you're connected with auto balance. And auto balance means balancing between different RPC nodes. And if the node that you are connected is down, then Omni will be automatically connected to another node. But I can specify some concrete node and switch to it and check that it works. Also, I can change and turn on the node, for example, Akala. And now you can find, after turning off the Akala, you can find Akala here in the list. And also for Polkadot, Kusama, and Kusama, you can enable light client. It takes some time. And as a result, the local light node will be running, and Omni will be working with the local light client node. And you see that the balance is the same and Polkadot is working. And the next thing, when you turn off the light client, you'll get the notification. And let me focus on it. So it says that the parachain data verification will be turned off. This feature was mentioned by Anton before, and let me explain what it means. If I use the light client, I trust this connection. And based on this trusted connection, I can verify the data that I get from Polkadot parachains through the RPC. The topic is really hard, and I can explain it on the next demo, but this approach allows to the user to trust the data, even if not light client connection is used, even if a user uses the RPC connection. So that's why it's asked always if you switch the relay chain connection to auto balance or RPC. And you see that it works, so everything is fine. And also, if you're running your custom node, you can edit. For example, I can add on finality node, and I have its address. Then the connection will be checked, and it's checked that it's a real working RPC node, and also it's checked that it's a Polkadot node. So if it were a Akala node, I won't be able to put it here. Okay, then I select this node, and now I'm connected to it. So the balance works again. And if I don't want to use this node anymore, I can back to the auto balance and remove this node from the list. And I won't use it anymore. Okay, so that's how it works. And yeah, I hope that you like it. And before we jump to the next step of the demo, when we are going to explain upcoming features, let me check the Zoom chat and check the questions if you have. I see the question about the proxy account. The proxy account will in the feature list that Anton has shared before. So the goal is to to work on this feature and figure out how we can provide the better UX for proxy accounts. And yeah, I see that Anton has already just mentioned about it. So yeah, if there are no any questions, then yeah, I see one more question. Okay, about constructing transactions. So as I said, and let me go back to the slides in order to answer the question. As I said, we are going to implement transfers and staking, nominating for the relay chain. And this saying staking and saying transfers, I'm saying that we are going to provide the convenient user interface that will provide good user experience for creating transactions. And in future, when we are working on each feature one by one, we'll be working on the UX and the UI for providing the best experience working on this feature. So under the hood, for sure, Omni will construct the transaction, but we'll try to provide the convenient user interface for it. Okay, so then let's go through the upcoming features. And as I said, let's start from a transfer. Our goal is to transfer and for any support tokens. So currently we have 65 plus networks with all the assets. And the signing will be working using the parity signer, but there will be a feature with a transaction queue where you can put transactions without signing and sign them later with a parity signer. And for sure, we are going to provide the checks, and under verification and safety, I assume that we'll execute only transactions that are valid and won't lead to any unexpected errors. So for example, user can't send more tokens that he has, and also Omni checks that after the transfer, the transferable balance will be more than existential deposit, and also Omni checks the destination account existential deposit, so that you won't lose your funds. Then let's finally explain what is a multi-shard. It's a big topic and it wasn't mentioned before. It wasn't explained before, so let me try to explain it. So at the left, you see the regular wallet as we used to work with, and at the right, you see the multi-shard wallet. So what's the difference? As it was said, one of the outcomes of research was the target audience, and multi-shard wallet was mentioned by power users, and this is a wallet that contains the list of accounts that are usually derived from a single account, and these accounts are limited to work on a single chain, like here on the Polkadot. And if to be really short, the shard is the account, and taking this into account, the multi-shard wallet is a wallet that contains of a different account, but structured by network. And if to look from another page to this question, then you can see that the wallet has a list of accounts, and each account is associated with a single network. In a multi-shard wallet, each network has multiple associated accounts, and that's the difference. So now we understand what is a multi-shard wallet. And for multi-shard wallet, we should rethink the features that are already implemented in other products of the ecosystem. For example, balances. If a multi-shard wallet is selected, when we should sum balances of the tokens for each shard. and show it here on the balancer screen. And also, if user select multiple multi-shard wallets or multi-shard wallets and regular wallets, then we also should sum these amounts and show on the balancer screen. And the next big thing is a staking, because we are working on the staking in the current milestone, and we should implement it for the multi-shard. So we made an experiment, and it was shown that if we implement the multi-shard staking, the operation execution and operation preparation and signing will be 21 times faster. So let me explain how we measured it. The only application that works on the desktop and able to integrate with a parity signer right now is a Polkadot.js. And the goal was to start staking for 50 accounts, and it took 42 minutes to start stake and sign the operation with a parity signer. In the Omni, in the multi-shard mode, for the multi-shard wallet, you can make it in 2 minutes. And yeah, let me explain how it works. So for the multi-shard relay chain staking, we are going to support all the features that are available in nominating. So we can stake tokens, collect rewards, manage stake, and start staking. So all the operations that a single account can make. But the big question here is how to sign these operations at once with a parity signer. And the solution is described on this picture. So just imagine that we have a multi-shard wallet, and each shard creates the operation. And all these operations are encoded in the multi-frame QR code that is compatible with the parity signer format. So parity signer is able to read all these transactions, parse them, and sign. And then the multi-frame QR code with signature will be generated, and it should be read by Omni and sent to the chains. And in this QR code, the operations might be really different. It may be staking, it may be transfers, it may be a mix of staking and transfers. And these operations may be made from name of a different account and for different networks. And taken together with this multiple operation signing and multi-shard staking, you will achieve these 2 minutes instead of 42 minutes. So currently that's all that I have, and thank you for your attention. As was mentioned before, your feedback is really valuable for us. So feel free to scan this QR code, and there you can find the sharing feedback form. So please email us, and it will be really, really helpful for us. And also follow us in the social media network, Twitter and YouTube. And let me check the questions. Yeah, Richard, thank you for your feedback. So let me check. Yes, Sergey, I see. Anton, if you'd like to add something, then feel free to do it.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Sergey. I think I have addressed it in the chat, but I can, tell it in words. Basically, as I discussed in the beginning, we have 3 categories of the users, like enterprises, individuals, and the power users. And while we were working with the power users on requirement solicitation, understanding what challenges they have at this moment, we discovered that the process of managing multiple shards or like a 50 accounts or even more, right? They face the challenge that it's really time consuming to do it securely with the hardware wallets, because as Pavel shown on the slide, it can take just for one single operation across all of these shards, it can take around 42 minutes, comparing with something like you can achieve with Omni, which can be done in 2 minutes. And there are multiple use cases like that. So yeah, basically that's the answer. There are really people exist in different companies. What they are doing right now, they're building internal solutions to solve this. However, they're producing more and more room for the errors in all these individual solutions. And instead of having all these solutions distributed and individually developed by these ecosystem teams, Omni would serve as one, like a standardized option for them to do all the separations. Of course, as an individual, it's hard to believe or understand the use case, but there are scenarios and there are people who are doing so.
Yeah, I don't see any questions. So in that case, I think that we can wrap up here. And thanks everyone for joining. Once again, feel free to share feedback. Any feedback is really helpful and valuable for us. And as it was mentioned, this demo will be on a regular basis, and follow us in Twitter, and we'll put the announcements there.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good day and upcoming weekend. Bye-bye.